Hello, Sacred Earth friends and family. Um, I'm going to do a New Year's reading today. I'm out here in the forest over in Thurman Flats. Um, I thought I would come here to do this year-long reading for the year 2020. Before I start, I would like to call in a little sacred space and do a little blessing for this new year. So I have my tinctures here. So I'm going to go ahead and ring those now and just take a moment to connect with the energies. So I have some crystals that I brought here too today that I was just intuitively drawn to. The first one is citrine. Look at that beautiful citrine specimen. So we're calling citrine into the space. This is a stone of abundance. It's also an empowerment stone. It resonates with the solar plexus. In this particular double terminated form, it directs energy out in two directions. The clarity of it is beautiful. This is from Brazil. Absolutely gorgeous piece of citrine. Okay, and then I have amethyst. And amethyst is also another stone of abundance. It resonates with the crown chakra. So it helps us to open up the crown and get more intuitive information from source. So that's amethyst. And then ruby. And so this is a piece of ruby that is actually mixed up with some other, I think limestone is what it's mixed up with. So ruby is actually the stone of January, and last January I was really drawn to get some of that, so that's the stone that I picked up last January. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is just a little oracle card divination and we're just trying to connect with the energies of 2020. Let's see what 2020 is about. And right away, if you look at the number 2020, we're talking about 2020 vision. We're talking about clarity of vision. There's a balancing energy to the 2020 number itself. So you see that there's two 20s in it, right? 2020. So this is going to be a year of balancing. It's going to be a year of change, because whenever we have clarity, change is going to be the end result. So sometimes change can come as hard lessons, but it is very necessary. And so that's where the balancing comes in, because when we start making changes, we are so clear right now, many of us, on exactly what needs to be done going through this next window of time. I know for myself personally, I know exactly what needs to be done in my own life. Now, actually bringing that to fruition and making it happen is a completely different story. So, but this is what we're working with. So this is something that we need to do. And personally, I've been seeing the number 14 a lot, which is, if you add the 1 and the 4, you get a 5. 5 is change. 5 is change that comes pretty quickly, but when you have it in the number 14, the 1 and the 4, what you're dealing with is the number 1, which is initiating or pioneering something, and number 4, which is foundation, building foundation. So there's another meaning embedded into that for me personally. So we have the Pluto and Saturn conjunction coming up on January 10th. So this is forcing us to make some changes. It particularly is pointing to areas of familial patterns and making changes in that area of life. But of course, it's affecting people in many different areas of life. But because we're talking about the Cancer Capricorn nodal axis, we're talking about balancing work and home life, and we're also talking, but there's a much deeper meaning to it on a psychological level. It's really about letting go of some of the strongholds that or patterning that's conditioned. It could be through home and family, or through just societal patriarchal conditioning, and this needs to be let go of, because as we move forward, not everything is serving us. Life changes, and if you look back on history, if you look back on over time, obviously we don't do things the same way we did 100 years ago or 200 years ago. So change is necessary, and some of those old structures definitely need to go. Okay, so the first card I'm going to consult with is the Angels and Ancestors deck. Okay, Angels and Ancestors deck. What does the Angels and Ancestors deck have to tell us about the year 2020 for the collective? What is going to be the most beneficial for everyone to know going into 2020? Okay. Oops, we had some cards fall down. Hold on. I'm sitting here in the rocks, so they kind of went for a nosedive. So let me keep mixing here. Okay. Okay, so the first card that comes up is High Priest. Okay, we see an Egyptian there, and it says intend and create. Okay. And so this is a time that we're all being encouraged to set very strong, clear intentions and create a clear vision, okay? So what is your vision? What have you been wanting to see happen in your life or in the world? So what visions do you have? This is the best time to intend and to create something, okay? So yeah, we'll keep that one in mind. Usually the first card points to things that are going to come later, so let's keep going. So we have intend and create, the High Priest. Okay. All right. I like to consult with multiple decks. It just gives me, just a feel for, different things coming from different perspectives. Okay, you can look at it that way. This is the Earth Magic deck. Okay, so let's go ahead and shuffle up the Earth Magic deck. I've had this cold past few days, so feeling better now, but I was down for a couple days, which is necessary, and it couldn't be a better time. I'm on vacation right now, so. All right. Okay, the card that I pulled is Autumnal Equinox, Release. Okay, so this month there's very much this theme of releasing. I look at it as actually a bit of purging because Pluto is playing a really prominent role in the sign of Capricorn right now, and Pluto is known as the destroyer, but Pluto just basically, it represents the soul in evolutionary astrology, and it basically will take out anything that is not in our soul's best interest. Sometimes these lessons come painfully. So there is a releasing that has to happen. We have to let go of the old before we can intend and create, as the other card said. You cannot create and build on an old foundation. You have to destroy, the old foundation and create on new soil. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck with the same energy that you've always had if you try to create on that old soil. It's just not possible. We have Saturn coming in a conjunction with Pluto on the 10th of January. And Saturn is the planet that makes us work a little harder. Okay, remember, we have these planetary energies moving through our physical bodies. Okay, and so that's why sometimes events seem a little bit out of our control, or we feel it on a very physical level. But Saturn is going to say, okay, that has been removed from your life. Now it's time to do the work, to roll up your sleeves and take ownership and responsibility. I've been really looking at this theme of ownership and responsibility since I've been working with astrology. And what I've learned is that there's just no escaping it. Yes, we are multidimensional beings, but we also live in the third dimension. So true freedom is going to come from those areas of your life that you have maybe not taken enough ownership or have seemed burdensome. Because once you unravel that thing, that's going to bring more clarity, and it's going to bring more long-term satisfaction to your life. We came here to learn some lessons, and yes, this is karma, and we don't have to agree to karma, but you're here. So there are karmic agreements, and unless you've advanced enough in your own spiritual evolution to revoke those agreements, those agreements are there. So they need to be revoked. You can revoke them, which will minimize their impact. You won't be beaming karma as much if you revoke them. So that's a whole nother topic, which maybe I'll save for another video. Okay? All right, so we have release. So definitely a theme of releasing here. Okay. Okay, so you know, I have another deck here that I didn't pull out that I want to use, and so let me. I don't know if I forgot to. Oh, here I am searching now. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this deck is the Psychic Tarot Heart Oracle, and I like this one because it kind of really cuts to the chase. It gets to the point of the issues. It brings up, you know, more like emotional things that need to be seen. This is a Tarot Oracle combo deck. What does the Heart Tarot have to say? Heart Oracle. Okay. Put that right there. Okay. Oh my goodness. Simply love. Okay. So for me personally, like, I've had this theme of my children because, you know, I'm ending a cycle, 18-year cycle right now, and starting a new 18-year cycle. And so now I gave birth to my kids roughly 18 years ago, and now I'm trying to launch them out into the world. And so this card has been coming up for me a lot. So giving birth to another cycle. So simply love. And it shows a father figure with a son, and it's saying simply love. So for all of us on a collective level, we are really being asked to just go into our hearts and not allow the events that are taking place in the world. There's so much going on the world stage. You know, lots of political dramas and things like that. But at the end of the day, it all doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. That's easy for me to say, right? But the truth is we all came here to learn how to love. I have some hikers coming up here, so I don't know if I'm going to get interrupted. So if I do, I'll probably turn off the video and do some editing. But so simply love. This is a time where we're going to be opening up our hearts. Sometimes opening up our hearts involves catalysts. It involves something challenging or difficult that's going to come in and force us to make change. Unfortunately, that's what... Hold on one second, it's getting kind of loud, so... Okay, I'm back. Good thing I turned off the video because it got pretty loud. They pretty much were on top of me. The hikers were. So anyway, I send you love. So anyway, so so yeah, so we're being encouraged to simply love, to drop into our hearts, and to allow the changes to open our hearts, because at the end of the day, that's what it's really about. And if we can hold that frequency of neutrality, there are so many injustices in this world. There's, you know, I don't even want to get into a whole thing about, you know, our medical system and the chemtrails and all the frequencies that are being beamed at us. And I've been down that road. So right now, where I want to put my focus is on the compassion, the love, the service, the changes, because when we focus our attention on those other things, and I get caught up in it too sometimes, because when you start seeing truths, you know, they can make you angry, and but when I started to shift my focus on how can I be of service in this world, how can I hold that space of neutrality that's going to uplift others, that's going to not dive into the game, which is an endless ping pong match of who's right and who's wrong. That's when things started to change for me. And maybe it's mostly on a psychological level, but have a lot more inner peace and happiness in spite of the challenges and difficulties that I face. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so all right, so I have one more deck here. And this is a new deck I have. This is the Fairy, hold on, what's it called again? Oracle of the Fairies. And this one's just fun. I thought this would be kind of a fun one. You see how pretty the colors are. They kind of match my shirt today. So let's see what the Oracle of the Fairies have to say. About the year 2020. Temptation. Are you in denial about an unhealthy habit? Perhaps, let me get those glasses on. Perhaps one that makes you feel guilty. This fairy says you have the power to overcome temptation, whatever its guise. Okay? Now, so it's New Year's, right? So right now, we are letting go of all the temptations and things that have been creating toxicity in our lives. So whatever that is for you, pay attention to it, because whatever is not serving our highest good, whatever is not in our best interest, it has to go, because the frequencies that are coming into the planet right now, we get flooded with frequencies from our source, and they're at an all-time high. And so whatever is discordant, what is not in alignment with source energy, is going to be purged and detoxed, okay? And sometimes these detoxifications can come painfully. But if we work with them and we consciously detox our bodies, then it doesn't go, then it's not so bad, right? So temptation, what is it for you? Is it, too much social media? Is it too much gaming or tech time? Or is it, drinking or eating the wrong foods? It's okay to have a little treat once in a while, because we all need the Venus, right? The little sweetness of life, the Venus energy. But now is a time, probably a good time to do a detox, okay? So that you can assimilate the new energies that are coming in much better, okay? So that you can come into your highest light. The body is a physical vessel for light. So if the body is toxic or there's anything that's discordant, it can't allow more of that source light to come in. So it has to be overcome. So, and it could be toxic relationships. It could be relationships that aren't serving your highest good. Okay. All right. One last one. This is Kuan Yin Oracle, and I absolutely love Kuan Yin. She's one of my what I would call one of my higher self helpers. When I align with her, I'm aligning with my higher self. I don't really look at her as like, I don't channel her. I just know that she's there as a force, pointing the way. And when I align with my higher self, I'm aligning with her, and vice versa. So she just, we all have helping spirits that come, and they could be different ones, right? So she's just the one that I just happen to have an affinity for, and somehow she kind of showed up. So anyway, drink from the Emerald Fountain. Okay, drink from the Emerald Fountain. This is number 7. So let me read Drink from the Emerald Fountain, number 7. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Number 7. Okay, let me get those glasses on. Drink from the Emerald Fountain. The Divine Feminine is encouraging of awakening and empowerment. Hold on, you guys. I'm going to have to clean off my glasses a bit. Hold on 1 second. Just a little bit something on there. My vision is not so great, so I need to be able to see this here. The words are really small. The Divine Feminine is encouraging of awakening and empowerment of all living beings. When a sincere seeker is trying to find the way through, there is much help sent. It makes sense to be open to receive it. Indeed, to step forward and drink from the Emerald Fountain, which is the unconditionally loving heart chakra of Kuan Yin. Allow yourself to be nourished by the power and the love of the Divine Mother flowing to you now. So again, we are focusing on that heart. We're focusing on simply loving, like the other card said. Green is the color that has been assigned to the heart chakra. It's been associated with it. It's part of the rainbow expression of being a human being on this planet. So that's typically the one. The colors can change, of course. Everything is not set in stone. We can, our belief really does propel a lot of this. So, but green is the color. So there is nothing to be gained in making life more difficult than it needs to be, other than unnecessary stress, or perhaps the learning that it isn't as much fun this way. At this time, you are going through a time of important spiritual growth. Your higher self has a set spiritual schedule and is planning on being at a certain destination in time and space to set events in motion, to benefit from synchronicities, and to be able to live out its divine purpose in the physical world too. The soul is very resourceful and is calling for divine help in getting to its destination on time. When you allow yourself to be helped, great reserves of support become available to you. Your soul is strengthened and nourished by a loving heart of the Divine Mother. As it is filled from love, from the emerald fountain, it can flow through you, and you feel happier, more balanced, content, and peaceful. The more you allow yourself to be assisted, the more you will feel detached and trusting. You will find fewer problems actually arise for you, and when they do, you might be surprised just how swiftly they are resolved, sometimes with only a small effort on your part. This is the benefit of allowing divine forces greater than us individually to nourish and support us. We allow the loving power, much greater than our individual consciousness, to do the heavy lifting. And our soul path unfolds more joyfully and more quickly. It is a doing without doing. You are at a point on your path where you need support to rise up and break through. You are invited to drink from the emerald fountain, to accept the love pouring endlessly from the heart chakra of the Divine Mother, as it would greatly benefit you, even in ways that are not as yet part of your conscious awareness. May your spirit thirst to be sated, and may you be supported and assisted by the Mother Divine. Wow. So allow that energy of the Divine Mother to flow through you. Allow its blessing and grace. So those changes that you are going to be making, you don't have to do it alone. Sometimes some of the changes we want to make seem quite daunting, but the year 2020 really has this energy of partnership in it, where many people in their awakening journey have had to go through this sort of hermit phase. But I feel this year we're going to be working together, more in tandem, more in unity, more team effort, more partnership, and changes made now are highly supported, because many have done a lot of growth individually in this past cycle. So now there's help. Help is coming. And if I relate it to the astrology, the help that is coming, it could be Jupiter, because even though these two very cold planets, Saturn and Pluto, are going to be conjuncting, and there's eclipse points hitting these two planets, which bring big changes, we have Jupiter. We have Jupiter coming in, kind of sweeping in behind and providing extra support. Jupiter is the great benefic. Okay, so that's really positive when that happens. So this energy is being supported. We are not being abandoned or left to just, have our lives sort of explode and then, figure it out. And not everybody's lives are going to explode, but like these energies can get challenging depending on how they're aspected. So a lot of it's psychological, okay? Psychological changes and spiritual growth. There's a lot of spiritual growth that's going to happen for a lot of people in this next window of time. A lot of awakening. There's Uranus, and Uranus in Taurus can bring sudden, unexpected events And some of them, depending on how it's aspected, can be positive, unexpected. And some of it can be challenging depending on those aspects. But there is this higher energy coming in from source, this very electric and beautiful energy. How we resist the changes is what makes it easy or difficult. So I keep getting this idea of the cavalry's coming in. And here comes the cavalry. Like, yeah, things got bad, but now here, help is coming, help is on its way. So this is something I keep getting. So I'm excited. And I've been looking at all the posts at the end of 2019 yesterday. And I've been looking at the upcoming posts of what people think it was coming, and it's just such a mixed bag of feelings. There's a lot of illusion around the new year. It's like, oh, this is going to be the best year yet, and then something really crappy happens, or this is, I'm kind of tired of like setting New Year's intentions or resolutions, and then something amazing happens. Then there's blessings. So to just hold those positive intentions, that is really, our thoughts are so much more powerful than they ever have been at any other time on this planet. So whatever you intend becomes. And so we have to become super aware of our thoughts and where we put our focus. Okay? Focus on the positive and don't get discouraged. Okay? All right. So first we had intend and create. Okay? Set those positive intentions. Keep them in alignment with source. Shift your focus away from the negative things that are happening on the planet. I'm not telling you to bury your head in the sand. Stay informed, make the connections, but then discern. Does this have truth, frequency coming through it? I see a lot of propaganda on the internet, and it's like, it's so obvious, but that it's skewed and it's so slanted. My side versus your side, try to stay away from those kinds of things. They're very charged, okay? They affect the way you think. Autumnal equinox, release, okay? So this is a time of releasing. Let go of anything that doesn't serve you, okay? Scale it way back. That's my suggestion. Whether it's detoxing your body, whether it's getting rid of things in your life that don't belong there, relationships, and do it with love, okay? Simply love. Forgiveness is a really important thing right now. Love, forgive. Try not to let people trigger you. We all have our triggers, but when you are in the unified field, when you are in that sacred, when you're creating sacred space, and you're creating places of unity, whether it's prayer rituals or ceremonial rituals, or like just taking a hike and a walk out here is so sacred. You are in that unified field. It is so much easier to love when you're in that field, and it is so much easier to forgive. So get there, get in that space, okay? And drink from the emerald fountain. Emerald, the color green, resonating with the heart chakra, and the theme of just being in your heart and allowing love and allowing that divine, beautiful, I'm trying to get the cards in order here, allowing that beautiful, divine, feminine energy to enter your being. Okay. Here's the cards. Oh, my fairy card. Where did my fairy card go? Oh, cannot forget the other card, which was temptation. Okay, let's get that one in there. It fell down the rocks. Okay, temptation, which is let go of those things that aren't serving you. Okay. The word sin literally means simply to miss the mark. You miss the mark, you try again. Okay, there is no condemnation. There is no, it's not the end of the world. We just try again. Okay, we're evolving. That's what we came here to do. Um, there is no perfection on this planet, okay? Even unconditional love is a higher dimensional concept. So as much as we think we know what unconditional love is, we have not quite tasted what that really is, okay? Right now it's kind of in our imaginations. And yes, you can feel love in your heart. And, you know, people who have had, you know, spiritual or blissful experiences on their spiritual journeys might have tasted it. But to hold that frequency of unconditional love is very challenging. And so as humans, we do our best, okay? I set my sights high, so it is a goal, okay? And it is a higher dimensional reality. So as we get more into our hearts, we lift up our vibration, and the likelihood of experiencing true unconditional love that exists in higher dimensions is much more likely than any act of service, okay, of selfless service. And then the heart theme is very pronounced here in this reading. You can see the green color, and then also the emerald card. So yeah, that's your reading for 2020. These are the things we're working with. I thank you all for joining me today and taking the time to listen to the end. It's kind of a long one. Much love to you. Have a blessed 2020. Namaste.